Hey world! Today we are going to be talking about how to letter each individual letter. So we are going to be breaking each letter into their individual strokes to see how they break down and how to do each individual stroke that make up the letter and how to do the letter in general. If you haven't already, make sure to watch my video on how to letter the basic strokes. That'll be linked in the cards in the description box below. Make sure to check it out as it will be super useful in how to do the basic strokes that make up each letter, because those are the basic strokes that make every letter in this video. So if you practice those strokes, then you'll be sure to be able to do every letter in the alphabet. So you're going to need a brush pen. I'm using the Tombow Fudenosuke, which a review will be linked in the cards and in the description box below, as well as the supply. And to draw the monoline strokes, I'm using a black 0.7 Papermate Inkjoy Gel Pen. And to draw the arrows, I'm using a dark green Papermate Inkjoy 0.7 Gel Pen. Links and review will be in the description box below, and a review will be linked in the cards and in the description box below. So the first letter that we have is the A. So you have a circle and then kind of connector that goes kind of past the circle, and then a line that goes down. So you're going up and then smoothly going down and then going up in your circle and then going a little bit more up and then kind of pressing down to get the entire A, so that you get the circle of the A and it's connected to the line of the A, and you're getting the thick and thin down strokes when you're going down and when you're going up. So the next letter is the B. So you have a line that goes down and a circle with a connector in the middle. So you're going down and you're pressing hard, and then you're going up pressing lightly, and then you're going into the circle and you're pressing down to add the thickness, and then going a little bit lightly and going lightly on your connector, which is kind of like a little swirly line. So you go, and it's because the circle kind of starts in the middle, and then once you reach the other end, you add the connector. So the next letter we have is a C, and it's very simple. It's just a curve. So you go up and then down and then up, and you curve it. It's almost as if you're drawing an O, but don't do like the ending part. And then next we have the D. So you have a circle, and then you have a loop, and then a line that kind of goes up. So the first thing you want to do is draw the circle, and then you want to draw the loop and then the line. So to draw the circle, you go up and then you press down as you go down, then you go up again, and then to the loop you go up and make a little round shape, and then press down to make your line so that you get the thick, down strokes, and you get a thin little loop. The loop is not necessary. You can just do a little line if that's easier for you, but I personally do the loop. So the next letter that we have is the E. So you're drawing a little mini loop, and then you're going down and you're doing another little half circle. So it's kind of like drawing a C, but you have a loop first. So next we have the F. So the F, you draw a little connector line, and then you go down and draw a tiny little loop, and then you do an up stroke. So you go tiny little loop, connector, then all the way down pressing down, and then you go up lightly to get the loop, and then you go kind of a little slightly to do the connector as well, and that's how you do your F. So the next one is a G. So you have a loop that goes a little bit up, kind of like the A, and then you have a downstroke, and then you have another loop that goes to the side. And so for the A part, for the loop, it's very similar to the A as well. You go up lightly, and then you press down and drop down part of the loop, then you go up a little extra, and then you press down but longer, so because it's a descender, and then you make your loop with a light stroke, and that's your G. So the next letter that we have is an H. So to do the H, you can do it two ways. You can do a loop in the descender, or you can skip the loop and just do a downstroke. So for this example, I'm going to show you how to do the loop. So you go up and you make a tiny little circle, and then you press down, and then you go up to make the curve, and then you go down again to make another curve. So you're going up lightly, then pressing down, and then going up lightly again, and then pressing down on your downstrokes to get your H. So next we have an I. So this I, you go up and then you go down, and then you add your dot on the top. So while you're going up, you're doing light pressure, and then while you're going down, you're going to add less pressure. For the dot, you just kind of lightly tap your brush pen to get the dot, and that's your I. So the next letter that we have is a J. So for the J, you go down, and then you go up, and then you add the dot. So you press hard on the brush pen as you go down, and then you lightly go up for your little loop, and you just tightly tap the brush for the dot. So next we have the K. So the K is a little fun because it has diagonal lines. So what you do is you're going down, and then you're going diagonal to your bottom left corner, and then diagonal to your bottom right corner. So you're pressing hard on the downstroke, and then medium pressure on the diagonals, more on the top than on the bottom, or you know, kind of going pressing and then less pressure as you reach towards the downstroke. Next we have the L. So what you're doing is you're going up, making a loop, and going down, and as you're going up, light pressure, and as you're going down, dark pressure. And then next we have the M. So you're going to have one line and then two arcs. So you're going down and then up and then down and then up and then down and then up. So as you're going down, you're pressing hard, and then as you're going up in the arc, you're pressing lightly, and then pressing hardly on down arcs to get the thick and thins of your M. Make sure that you're slowly transitioning into your arcs to get nice and neat transitions on your M. And then the N is very similar to the M, except there's only one arc rather than two. So you're going down and up and then down, and pressing hard as you're going down, and then pressing lightly as you go up, and then pressing hard as you go down again. So that's your N. And the next letter is going to be an O, and this is just a basic circle. So you're going from the top or the side, depending on which is easier for you, like kind of like the top right, and then you're going kind of up, and then you're pressing hard, and then you're going back up to get your thick and thins. Now we have the P. So the P, you're going down, then you're drawing a circle, and then you're doing a connector, kind of like the B, except the top is kind of different. And if you want to, you can draw a connector between the circle and the P, or draw them together. Like in this one, there's kind of a different distance between the downstroke and the loop. So you're pressing hard on the down line, and then you're making a loop, and you're pressing down once again. And for your connector, you're just drawing a lightly pressed thin swirly line. So now we have the Q. So once again, you have your circle that kind of extends, similar to the G and the A, and then a downstroke, and then a loop, and then a kind of connector. The loop is not necessary, but in this example, I'm showing you how to do the loop because it looks a little bit better that way, in my opinion. So you're pressing down as you're going on the first A loop, then you're going up a little extra, and then pressing down, and then adding the loop and connector. So next we have the R. So for the R, you also don't need the loop on the top, but it kind of adds a little bit more spice to your letter. So you go up thinly, and then you go down and press light pressure, and as you go horizontally, you can add no pressure and then press hard. With the R, there's lots of variations to it. So now we have the S, and so for the S, you're going up, and then you're going down and drawing a loop and then a connector. So for the down up, you're pressing lightly, and then you're pressing hard, pressing down, and then you're drawing the loop and connector lightly to make your S. So next we have the T. So the T is a very simple shape. You just have a kind of connector, then like the bottom of an umbrella, and then a swirly line to cross it. And so first you're doing the tiny connector, then the bottom of the umbrella, and then the cross after. So the connector is light, then you press hard on your bottom of umbrella, and then the top ending of the umbrella you're pressing lightly, and then you're kind of adding pressure as you start and end the swirly line, but in the middle you add less pressure. Next we have the U. So for the U, you want to make sure that you are going down and then up and then down, kind of like an upside down N. So you're pressing hard on the bottom stroke, and then you're going lightly on the upstroke, and then going back down on the U, and it's also kind of similar to the T's bottom umbrella shape. Next we have the V, which is a downstroke and then an upstroke and a connector. So for this connector, I'm drawing a loop. So for the bottom stroke, you just press hard, and then for the upstroke, you press lightly, and for the loop connector, you press a little harder for the loop, not as hard as the downstroke or as hard as the downstroke, depending on your preference. So next we have the W. The W is very similar to the U, except instead of one arc, you have two arcs. So it's similar to an upside down M without that downstroke. So you're pressing hard, and then you're going up, and pressing hard and then going up and then drawing a connector. And this one I'm not using a loop, except I'm just using kind of a thin line. For most of your connectors, you're going to just use a thin line, or you can use a loop. So next we have an X. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a thick downstroke, and after you finish your word, you can add the light upstroke that crosses the X. And then you have your X. So the next letter that we have is a Y. So you're going to have an arc similar to your U, and then you're going to go down and have a loop that connects to the next letter. So you're pressing hard on the bottom, then going lightly up, then you're pressing down hard again, and then as you go to the loop, you slowly go lightly to get a nice smooth transition into your next letter. So the final letter that we have is Z. So Z, you go a little arc, and then underneath it you do another arc and a loop. So you get a Z. The cursive Z is a little different than the normal Z, so this is how you draw a cursive Z. And so when you're doing the calligraphy Z, you're doing up and then you're pressing a little hard on the bottom of the arc, and then you're going up and then you're pressing a little hard on the bottom of the arc, and then you're kind of going up on your loop. So this is kind of a sideways Z, but you'll see how a Z looks like in the alphabet. And you just press hard and then up, and then you have your Z. So for practice, there's several good ways to practice. If you want a word to practice, minimum is a great word because it has lots of thick and thin downstrokes and arcs, and it's a really good word to practice if you're trying to practice your calligraphy. Another really good way to practice your calligraphy is if you're a beginner, then to practice the basic strokes. I have an entire video on how to do the basic strokes, which I will be linking in the cards and in the description box below, so make sure to check that out. It is all the basic strokes that pretty much make up all of your letters, as well as some other helpful tips inside. And if you like this video, also remember that next week I'm going to be making a video on how to do uppercase letters, so make sure to check that out and subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when that comes out. And if you want another way to practice your letters, another really good sentence is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. This has every single letter in the alphabet, and you're practicing words in an entire sentence. And there's lots of other ways to practice, like quotes and everything, but these are two really good ways to practice, basic strokes, which I have a video on in the description and in the cards. And then, minimum, which is a really good word because it has lots of loops and everything. And then the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, which is also a really good sentence just to practice your lettering. And a bonus tip is that when you're lettering, you want to make sure that you're pressing hard on your thick strokes and pressing hard on your downstrokes and pressing lightly on your upstrokes to get thin upstrokes. And also that, if you are transitioning in a circle, that you are slowly transitioning and going at a pace that is good for you. This is me real time with my brush pen, so you can see that it's not super fast like the time lapses that you see online. So you make sure that you spend your time while using brush letters, because that way your lettering will turn out better, and practice makes perfect. And the ways that I made these letters can be very different from the ways that you make your letters, but it's going to be very similar, but you can add loops where you want to, or you can skip the loops. You can see that in my handwriting, sometimes I add the loops on the H's, sometimes I don't, sometimes I add the loops on the R, sometimes I don't, it just depends. And so if you want to add a little bit more spice to your lettering, you can also use different colors. The entire video I've been using black, but you can also use the rainbow, and if you want to add a little bit more spice, you can alternate colors. You can have pink and red, and then pink and then red, or you can go rainbow, you can go pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, etc., etc. And it just kind of make your lettering look really nice without much effort because you're using different colors, but all you're doing is writing each letter with a different color and switching in between letters. Or if you want to be even better, you can try blending with different colors. I'll have a video on that coming soon, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when that video comes out. There's many other things that you can do to make your lettering look better and unique, like adding embellishments and you know, symbols and all these other things, changing the colors, you know, using glitter pens, using watercolor. There's a lot of different things that you can do to make your lettering look a little bit more pretty. So yeah, like in my 2020, you can see that I'm adding like swirls and curves and just different things to add embellishments. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed today's video on how to do each letter individually and the form of how every letter is calligraphied. And if you liked this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell as I make more videos on lettering and calligraphy and stationery and art in general. And I'll be making a video on how to do the alphabet in the future, as well as how to do numbers and symbols. And I will also be I also already have a video on how to do the basic strokes to watch so that you can practice those before, you know, doing this. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified every time I make a new video every Monday. And comment down below on your tips for writing out each letter or any individual letter before, and any ideas that you have on lettering. I love to hear your thoughts. And like this video so we can reach more people. And remember to have a happy Monday. Bye bye!